Hi guys, this is IGCSE O-Level Chemistry, paper 22, Extended MCQs, November 2021, question 11. Chlorine reacts with ethane to produce chloroethane and hydrogen chloride, and the bonds are shown in the reaction given. The reaction is exothermic. The bond energies are shown in the table. What is the energy change of the reaction? So, bonds of the reactants are broken, that means energy is required, and bonds of the products are formed, that means energy is given off. So energy required is a positive energy change and energy given off is a negative energy change. The sum of bond energies of reactants minus sum of bond energies of products would give us the enthalpy change for this reaction. So now let's look at the bonds that are being broken and bonds that are being formed. So bonds broken are 6 carbon hydrogen bonds. We have 1 carbon-carbon bond and we have 1 chlorine-chlorine bond in the reactants. In the product side, we have got 5 carbon hydrogen bonds, 1 carbon-carbon bond. We have got 1 carbon-chlorine bond and we have got 1 hydrogen-chlorine bond. So, first off, we will eliminate the common bonds in the reactants and products. Since we have got 6 carbon hydrogen single bonds on the reactant side and 5 carbon hydrogen bonds on the product side, we can eliminate 5 from each side. So this gives us one remaining carbon hydrogen bond on the reactant side. There is 1 carbon-carbon single bond on the reactant side and 1 carbon-carbon single bond on the product side. So this gets eliminated as well. So now we are left with 1 carbon hydrogen bond on the reactant side and 1 chlorine-chlorine bond on the reactant side. And on the product side, we are left with 1 carbon-chlorine single bond and 1 hydrogen-chlorine single bond. Now let's perform the calculation. So for this calculation, the bond energy for the CH bond is 410. So this would be plus 410. And for the chlorine-chlorine bond is plus 240. So this will be plus 240. So we will end up with positive 650 as the energy required to break the bonds. Now the energy given off when bonds are formed. So we have 1 carbon-chlorine single bond. This would be plus 340 and we have 1 hydrogen-chlorine single bond. This is plus 430. So this would become positive 770. But the sign will change to negative because this is the energy given off when bonds are formed. So our calculation would be positive 650 minus 770. This will result in an enthalpy change value of minus 120 kilojoules per mole. Therefore, the correct option for this question is option B. Option C and D would have been automatically eliminated because they were showing a positive sign for the enthalpy change and the question itself stated that this is an exothermic reaction. So we had a choice between options A and B. So the calculated value is present in option B. Question 12. Chlorine gas is bubbled into aqueous potassium iodide. What is the ionic equation for the reaction that takes place? Now, since chlorine is more reactive than iodine, it will displace iodide ions in potassium iodide to form potassium chloride, and iodide will be oxidized to iodine. So the product should contain chloride ions and iodine, and the reactant should contain chlorine gas and iodide ions. So we have the same situation in all the options, but there must be something wrong to eliminate 3 of them. So in A, we have got chlorine atom reacting with iodide ion. Chlorine in its elemental form is a diatomic gas, so it should be Cl2, not Cl. Next, we have Cl2 reacting with 2I minus, giving us Cl2 minus. When we have chloride ions forming, they will form in the form of Cl negative ions, not Cl2 negative. So this species is incorrect. Next, we have got chlorine gas reacting with two iodide ions, producing two chloride ions and iodine as a diatomic molecule. So this is correct. And the last one, we've got chlorine gas reacting with two iodide ions, producing two chloride ions plus two atoms of iodine. Iodine is a diatomic molecule. It does not exist in its atomic state naturally. So this is the wrong species given. This makes option C the correct option for this question. Question 13. Concentrated aqueous sodium chloride is electrolyzed. Which equation represents the reaction at the cathode? So concentrated aqueous sodium chloride. So we have water, we have sodium chloride present. So cathode is where reduction takes place. Sodium ions will be reduced to sodium, or H positive ions will be reduced to hydrogen. Now, since we have hydrogen and sodium present, hydrogen ions and sodium ions, hydrogen is less reactive than sodium, so it will be preferentially discharged over sodium. So the production of hydrogen gas will take place at the cathode. So this eliminates options A, B, and D automatically, because the species present are not hydrogen ions or hydrogen gas. Option C has two H positive ions accepting 2 moles of electrons producing hydrogen gas, making option C the correct option for this question. Question 14. Which statements about hydrogen are correct? When hydrogen is burnt, heat energy is released. So when hydrogen is burnt, it reacts with oxygen. Therefore, it undergoes combustion. And combustion is always exothermic. That means heat will be released. So this statement is correct. Next, when hydrogen is used in a fuel cell, electrical energy is generated. Yes, it is a fuel in hydrogen oxygen fuel cell. This is also correct. 3. When hydrogen is used as a fuel, water is the only product. Yes, hydrogen reacts with oxygen gas, producing water as a waste product. So all three statements about hydrogen are correct, making option A the correct option for this question. Question 15. Solid X is heated strongly. The color of solid changes from blue to white. What is solid X? Anhydrous cobalt 2 chloride. It will not turn white, and it is anhydrous. So by heating it strongly, it will not lose water of crystallization. Calcium carbonate, it is already white. Hydrated copper 2 sulfate, yes, hydrated copper 2 sulfate has a blue appearance. When you heat it, the water of crystallization is lost, converting it into anhydrous copper 2 sulfate, which has a white colored appearance. And lead 2 bromide, this will have a off-white or cream appearance. So this is not it either. Therefore, the correct option for this question is option C. Question 16. Iron 2 chloride solution reacts with chlorine gas. The equation is shown. 2FeCl2 aqueous plus Cl2 gas gives 2FeCl3 aqueous. So iron 2 positive ions are oxidized to iron 3 positive ions. And chlorine gas having an oxidation state of 0 is converted into chloride ions with an oxidation state of -1. So this is a redox reaction. Which statement about this reaction are correct? Fe2 plus ions are reduced to Fe3 plus ions. Fe2 plus ions are not reduced, they are oxidized. Chlorine acts as a reducing agent. Chlorine is reduced, therefore it is an oxidizing agent, not a reducing agent. Fe2 plus ions each lose an electron. Yes, two positive ions are converted into three positive ions by losing one electron each. And Cl2 molecules are reduced to Cl negative ions. Yes, they go from a charge of 0 to a charge of -1, which means they are reduced. So, since statements 3 and 4 are correct, option D is the correct option for this question. Question 17. Which statements about acids and bases are correct? An acid reacts with metal to give off hydrogen. Yes, this is correct. A base reacts with ammonium salt to give off ammonia. Yes, this is correct. because ammonium salts are acidic in nature. So acid and base reaction will occur. An acid reacts with carbonate to give off carbon dioxide. Yes, this is correct as well. And alkaline solutions are orange in methyl orange. No, alkaline solutions are yellow in methyl orange. And acidic solutions are red. So this is incorrect. So since statements 1, 2, and 3 are correct, option A is the correct option for this question. Question 18. Oxide 1 is a solid that reacts with dilute hydrochloric acid. Oxide 2 is a gas that reacts with sodium hydroxide solution. So oxide 1 is basic in nature and oxide 2 is an acidic gas. What are the formula of oxides? Calcium oxide is basic in nature. So this could be it. Magnesium oxide is basic in nature. This could be it as well. NO2 and SO2 are gases, so they cannot be it because so oxide 1 is a solid. Now, oxide 2 should be a gas. So in option A, we've got MgO. MgO is a solid. So option A gets eliminated. And oxide 2 is a gas that reacts with sodium hydroxide. NO2 is an acidic gas that would react with sodium hydroxide, making option B the correct option for this question. Question 19. Which reaction is a photochemical reaction? So a photochemical reaction is a chemical reaction that involves the presence of light. So addition of bromine to propene. This is an addition reaction which takes place under room conditions and do not require light to be present as a necessity. So esterification of ethanol and ethanoic acid. This takes place at a higher temperature and under reflux conditions, but presence of light is not a requirement. Oxidation of ethanol. Oxidation of ethanol does not require light as well. And substitution of methane with chlorine. Yes, substitution reactions of alkanes with halogens require the presence of sunlight or more specifically UV light. So this is what is known as a photochemical reaction. So this makes option D the correct option for this question. Question 20. The equation shown represents a reaction at equilibrium. M and N represent the balancing numbers for the reactant and product respectively. Okay. So they are the molar coefficients or the molar ratios. High temperature increases the concentration of Q. That means an increase in temperature favors the forward reaction, which means the forward reaction is endothermic because an increase in temperature favors the endothermic side of the reaction. And next, a high pressure increases the concentration of Q. A high pressure favors the forward reaction, meaning number N is a lesser value than M because the number of moles of products will be lesser than the number of moles of reactants. That is why an increase in pressure would favor the product side of the reaction. So the moles of represented by N is lesser than the moles represented by M. Which statement about the reaction is correct? The forward reaction is exothermic, no, and M is greater than N. This is correct. The forward reaction is exothermic, again, no, M is less than N. This is incorrect. The forward reaction is endothermic, yes, and M is greater than N. Yes, this is also correct. The forward reaction is endothermic, correct. M is less than N, incorrect. Therefore, the correct option for this question is option C.